Peace, great peace, great peace, great peace, Yakoki. Now I want to say this, right? You know, a lot of people think this is a case of criminality with the Nigerians kidnapping ICE agents. Um, no, this is not a case of criminality. This is a case of chickens coming home to roost. That's all it is. That's all it is. When you promise someone citizenship, right? That means you've already found their aborigine here. You've already found their registries here. You've already found their records here. Their ancestors. You've made a link. You've made a connection between the people that's applying to come here and the people that's already here. You found a nucleus for them. You found their relatives here in America already. So once they get here, they're not second class citizens. They're not third class citizens. They're not impoverished citizens. They're not displaced. They're just as important as the people who didn't come from anywhere and who was already here. And I'm wanting to say this, right? We all came from somewhere. Because even when you look at African Americans, right? All African Americans don't look alike. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to burst your bubble. But all African Americans do not look alike. They don't. African Americans, look, they come in all shades, right? Like what they say, you got your red bones, you got your high yellows, you got your elderberry, you got your blackberries. You got all these different groups of people who come in these different subsets. We're not the same people. We came from somewhere. Some of us look Asian, some of us look African, some of us look European. You see what I'm saying? And that's not a bad thing. It's just being honest. If it were up to me, if I could change the world like just like one with one gloss, right? It would be to stop government processes where they're preventing people to come over here. Now that's cool, right? You got criminals here. Why don't you deport the criminals who are here, right? The ones who keep committing offenses, keep committing violent crimes, keep committing soft crimes. Why don't you get them out of here and bring other people here who's willing to be honorable citizens? But the world doesn't work like that, right? Everything has to be difficult. Everything has to be a promise. Like me, I'm like this, man. Today I just got my letter in the mail for registration of my one of my videos. I converted it to an audio file, and I got the registration in the mail today from the Library of Congress that my my voice patterns, right? Everything, it was copyrighted. I copyrighted one of my audio files, speaking in my original language, right? I copyrighted it. Why did I do that, right? Because this is going to tie into what I'm talking about, right? The reason I went ahead and copyrighted, and I'm going to copyright some more stuff, right? I'm going to copyright one of my images. So, like, if there ever is a problem with someone trying to steal my work or steal my integrity or anything like that, my intellectual property, I could sue them. I can sue them for infringement. I'm not going to show the paperwork or anything like that, but I got that done today. Um, so it took like 5 months for it to come in the mail. So it's a long process, but um, the next thing I want to do when I have enough money to get everything done, because I have bills now. Like, so when I get everything done and situated, and I have money left over, like once I'm done paying my mortgage off, I can start to trademark things. That's the next thing I want to do. But it ties into this, right? Nigerians have a nationality. So when they come here, they have double protections. They have United States protections because they have a United States passport, and they have their country protection. Nigeria, right? Ghana, Cameroon, Congo, they have that protection because they have those passports. So they have two protections. So if at any time, it becomes a quest for finding out who people are, if they're here illegally or not, the court process is always protecting them, right? The Supreme Court is always protecting immigrants. It's just that you have militia groups out here, right, who's acting on their own accord. That's why I don't feel any type of way about this. This is not criminality what they did, right? This is a citizen's arrest in my eyes. And I'm gonna put that in the comment section. This is a citizen's arrest. So let's not, when people try to detail it and say like, oh, it's they kidnapping. No, they're not kidnapping. Because those aren't kids. If you are in the street, right, and you're not acting civil, meaning you're going around bothering people, talking about they here illegally and whatnot. They haven't committed any crime. They haven't committed any offense to even be deported. Then that's when you say, okay, these people, they're trying to do some other things. And like, I commend African countries, because not once did they complain about their living situations. They're just glad they have sovereignty. A lot of people are just glad they have sovereignty. Every time I come around Africans, right, I feel at home. I feel blessed. I feel like like the lady was just saying. She was like, she wouldn't want to be any other nationality. She loves being African. Like, do you know how that feels when you can just say, like, you gave prominence to a globe, like you gave arts, humanity, you gave all these things to a globe, and you still haven't figured out the nature of it because you wasn't given those degrees. But you do know this one thing, right? You gave arts, you gave music, you gave humanity, you gave landscape, you gave science, innovation. You gave all these things to this globe. And there's people out here who still don't get it. Like, they still don't know where they come from. They still don't know who's the crop of the cream. You know what I mean? They still don't know who's blessed them to even be here and to experience this. Once you're giving life on this planet, it's like Jeremiah 1:5. I knew you before you were formed in the womb. So don't be ashamed. If you're blessed to be breathing, you're not an anomaly. You need to be proud of that. Don't be bitter. You know what I mean? So I look at it, man, like, this is fantastic. Like, people, they're tired, man. They're fighting back. Like, people are tired of this, man. Like, Africans are not just going to let, a lot of these men, like, who are in these uniforms, right? They think like it's just going to be an easy run. You think they train and do all that stuff in the gym? Take them anabolic steroids where they always look chiseled. They always have the same body type, right? This is how I know they be taking steroids. They always have the same body type. They got the chiseled muscles and stuff like that. Like, you still gonna have a fight on your hand. That's why I automatically get tipped off when I see all these white men who be in these muscle shirts and stuff like that, doing all that lifting and power lifting and stuff like that. That means they're training for something. A normal individual is just, they're living according to humanity standards. They're in the jungle, cropping trees, cropping fruit, grooming the earth, tilting the soil. These men are not doing any of that. They're training with metal. You know what I mean? They're encompassing people. You know what I mean? Like, they're pushing people around and stuff like that. That's not any way to live. Once you take antibiotic steroids, you go through worse. Like, the thing about taking antibiotic steroids, right? You limit your life longevity. You limit it. You have problems giving birth to children and stuff like that. Like, I would not want to take that garbage. I would not want to take that garbage. And like me, right? I have a I'm athletic to a point, right? If I want to get my vertical leap back, right, I have to do a lot of training. And I'm at a stage in my life where I'm like my grandfather. I'm just relaxing. I have nothing to prove anymore. I've done everything in life. I've experienced everything in life. Everything has a pro and a con. I've seen all cons. I've seen all pros. Like, what's more left for people to do other than just procreate? What's left for us all to do? Have we figured out the last degree of life? I don't I don't think people know how blessed they are to be in this realm. I don't think people know how blessed they are. I really don't think they do. So, I'm going to continue to watch these videos, man. I'm going to continue to support my people. I'm going to continue to support content creators who are coming from Africa. I'm going to continue to do that. This is a good time to be alive because everything is out in the open now. Nothing is hidden anymore. We know everybody personalities. We know where everybody come from. We know phenotype. We know all that. We know all of that right now. This is the perfect time to be alive. I'm very grateful, man, to come out of my father, to go into my mother, and to come out of my mother. I'm very grateful for that. No one can tell me different. No one. You know, like, we get so accomplished in life where we start to take things for granted, and we can't do that. We can't do that at all, man. Like, there's people out here who don't have human contact with other humans. Like, there's people who would never step foot on American soil. There's people who would never see the light of day again for a mistake that they done in the past. Man, if this brother and this sister who of a Nigerian origin, if they get locked up, and they are locked up right now, um, and they're not released, we all need to be sending them letters of support. Depending on how this gets slated out, I don't know their whereabouts, but we all need to find out how they're doing, and we need to send them letters of support, and we also need to put money where our mouth is. If we have to send them money, we have to put money where our mouth is. We have to support them. Great peace, Yakoki.